If there's one show that can be considered powered almost entirely by the fandom, RWBY is that show. While the series itself may be entertaining on its own to a certain group of people, the fact that the show was, and still somewhat is, held back by a small starting animation team and low budget makes it that much more impressive that the following for RWBY has become so widespread and popular. To the point where extremely recognizable voice actors in Japan are voicing these characters in the dub, and massive ads are being displayed at places like New York Comic Con. While it may seem at first glance that the badass fights Montium choreographed and animated are the clearest to draw, considering a lot of the early popularity was based in his work with Dead Fantasy, I believe the most important parts of the fandom's explosive growth from the very first Red trailer has to do with two things: the core idea of the world, and Monty's focus on the community's ease in creating the works of art based on the show. Monty was instrumental in the show's success, and his genius goes far beyond just his animation. The heart and soul he put into the show is clear right from the outset. His intention to give the characters distinct styles, and the fans' easier times cosplaying the characters speaks to a concept of acknowledging that the community is incredibly important in carrying a show's popularity. Rooster Teeth's philosophy of being so intertwined with the community also contributes to this to a large degree, so the match was pretty much made in heaven between the two entities immediately. Considering Rooster Teeth's start as a company making a glorified fanfiction of the Halo universe by using the game to create their stories through a technique known as machinima, the logical route for them seems to have always been allowing the community much more freedom than some entities like Nintendo, for example, give their own. As a result, the explosion of fan art in all of its forms, from the cosplay to the drawings, and even their own fan animations, was left entirely unchecked, at least for the most part. And in fact, a lot of this creativity feeds back into Rooster Teeth, as a lot of the people who started out as fan artists have now become entangled with the company as concept artists and animators, with a couple of these being Mojo and Dishwasher 1910. Who've been pretty integral to RWBY Chibi and the upcoming Genlock mecha anime that Rooster Teeth's gonna be releasing soon, respectively. This is a genius way of handling the community, and it's pretty similar to the idea I talked about in my Little Witch Academia video, about how Akko freely gives joy to the others that results in them giving her back some joy if her will ever begins to waver. And while it might not be necessarily entirely Monty's or Rooster Teeth's decision alone, the fact that it's even a concept that works is incredible to me, since I've always been of the opinion that the best people to help you in the future are the fans you make creating what you love. This is because those fans are going to love the work as much as you do, and sometimes even more in some cases. An origin story that a lot of people familiar with Rooster Teeth's hires might find they've heard more than once. And this brings me to the other side of RWBY's incredible popularity, despite all the odds stacked against it. A 3D animation, stylized to look like anime, being made by a small company with low budget in the West of all places, would be a hard sell to almost anybody. But despite this, the show just clicks with people. And in my opinion, this is because the world fascinates the imagination, because of the possibility inherent in it, inspiring creativity even in just the simple fact that almost every weapon is also a gun. Combining and direct fusion are hugely popular ideas in the world of fan art, and giving people the option of doing that to weapons in the world right from the get-go encourages everyone with even a spark of thought to make their own unique versions of what they're seeing in the show. Once you add fondness and semblances, you have an extremely customizable system based on the characters we all know and love. And all that means, it makes it a little bit easier for people to come up with an OC, or original character, because of the gigantic amount of different characters that already exist in the show. Anyone can even take bits and pieces from the various characters and combine them into their own unique entity, which even a cursory glance at the Sonic fandom will tell you is a very common idea. The bounds of human creativity are incredibly vast, so a show that says, hey, look at this cool idea. Now imagine what you could do. Like RWBY is the gasoline that just explodes the fandom like it did, which you can see firsthand just by going to RWBY and looking at the front page, which is mostly fan arts. And shipping. Lots and lots of shipping. Now, this might seem a little bit obvious, but I think even the most obvious idea is worth taking a look now and then, just to marvel for a second, at how impressive it actually is. If you offer your fans freedom, you'll get back more in return than you could have ever done on your own. It's happened before with Blizzard's Warcraft 3 map creator, a program that spawned one of the most popular genres in the world, of which League of Legends and Dota 2 are a member, the MOBA genre. And while Blizzard hasn't exactly capitalized on this, Rooster Teeth has definitely done so with their community. There's a whole bunch of different examples of this littered throughout gaming history, and the close tie that Rooster Teeth has with the kind of content they make and video game culture makes it that much more obvious they'd recognize the opportunity. But the thing is, this idea isn't limited to just huge companies. You, me, anybody on YouTube, anybody that creates something, can also do the exact same thing. Make something, and you'll definitely get fans, even if you don't think it's that great yourself. One day those fans might create their own works of art. They might even ask for your help, and it's possible they might even surpass you, with or without your help. But they wouldn't have existed at all if you didn't make something first. And if you help them, you might find someone to work with, or someone whose content you absolutely adore. Or maybe both, who can really say? So inspire, and be inspired in turn. That's what the heart of a community is, as RWBY is a great evidence of. Anyway, that's enough out of me. If you enjoyed my thoughts on what's made RWBY so great, not even mentioning the hard work the animators and writers and everyone else that works on the show puts into it, I hope you'll stick around and take a look at my other videos on anime to see what ideas I can pull out of them. Of course, if you want to just talk to me about this video, or anything at all, just leave a comment down below. Or you can talk to me on Twitter, and I'll try to respond there too, because discussion is key to an inspiration for me, as hopefully it is for you too. Also, be on the lookout for RWBY Volume 5 coming October 14th on roosterteeth.com, because the show is really awesome, and it's getting better every year. Even if you don't like everything about it, the fan art and creative drive the fans and creators have is pretty incredible, and it's fun to jump into yourself. And no, this isn't an ad, it's just something I want to say. Whatever you decide for yourself, I hope you remember to enjoy the way you watch anime. Because as long as you're having fun, that's all that really matters. I'll see you next time.